So as it is, like I mentioned under goal 5, gender equalities, that is graphically represented over here. Eliminate all forms of violence against women and girls, all forms of discriminations to be removed, undertake reforms to give women equal rights to economic resources, and eliminate all harmful practices, recognize and value unpaid care and domestic work, ensure women's full and effective participation and equal opportunity for leadership at all levels in decision making, ensure the use of enabling technology to promote the empowerment of women, like all information technology related things, communications, etc. should propagate about these facts, ensure universal access to a sexual and reproductive health and reproductive rights, adapt and strengthen sound policies and enforce legislation for the promotion of gender equality. Yeah, refer this website. Yeah, so under this one, some further relations are drawn. Gender equality is central to the SDGs, and if it is not achieved, the implementation of all the other goals will be compromised. So that's what it is like being established through this on different other SDGs. But what could be the like repercussions? So related to gender SDG 5 and SDG 6, this one, women and girls play a central role in the provision, management and safeguarding of household water and sanitation. So majority of the households are managed and taken care of by like women. Okay, so issues related to like a cleanliness, like a clean water and sanitation, etc. They are the largest contributor and stakeholders over there. Okay, so if their situation is not improving overall, this also has like a full like a possibility that it will be in shambles, right? So direct like a correlationship. Another one to SDG 7, where as primary energy manager in household, again they are taking care of like a household, and they are the primary like a managers. It is like a mention over here, you see this word. Okay, women can play a powerful role in the successful transition to a sustainable energy for all. Okay, because at domestic level, if we talk about like energy consumption, what are the sources of energy, like like a firewood, beginning firewood to like all others. Okay, it is mostly managed by like a women, right? So they are the ones who in the majority of the percentages are handling it. Okay, so if they are empowered, if they bring like this change, okay, definitely there will be a huge change that what it is being like projected from this. SDG 11, we get women have equal rights to the city, to their safety and public spaces is crucial for sustainable urbanization. So any cities like a safety index and livability is defined by by freedom at which like any like a member is able to like enjoy in the like surroundings of the like a city. So if women are able to walk and like move freely without any fear or like a disturbance, definitely you can conclude that the place is like a safe enough, right? And there are like a variety of examples coming like sometimes unpleasant news, right, about like a women's safety, okay, from different places, right? So that talks about like not so friendly elements like being present in those like places, right? So that must be actually addressed because it kind of hinders directly on their freedom and liberty, right? So which in turn affects like the working environment of like that place also. Like women will not be like feeling safe to like a walk in the evenings, nights, right, etc. So all of those like things directly get like impacted, right? So that one, gender equality. Yeah, and then coming down to the next one, SDG 12, unsustainable production and consumption patterns are like gendered, with women suffering disproportionately from resource scarcity and natural disasters resulting from climate change. So in this sector also there is like a huge role of like a women members. Okay, so with the change in their kind of like a strengthening, of course it's going to bring like a positive change to the responsible like a consumption and production like a phases also, right? And then SDG 15, women's specific knowledge of and dependence on forests make them like a key contributors to the forest conservation and regeneration. Okay, so life on land, if you see, so collecting like a firewood, to taking care of like a cattle, right, to getting like other like a fetching resources from the forest. There are a lot of things which women actually perform from the rural areas, right. So a majority of like this like things are dependent on like a women handlers, like how they are like tackling and handling like those things from the forest. Okay, so whether it is going towards conservation and regeneration, or it is degrading, a lot depends on like a women handlers also in these regions, right. So strengthening them, like equipping them, and like by enabling like their abilities is definitely have positive impact on the life on land. And then lastly, to the last one, SDG 17, mobilizing sufficient resources will be critical for meeting the gender equality commitment of the 2030 agenda. Yeah, so all of these like things for partnerships, engagement, cooperation, collaboration, like mutual like things, etc. Will bear fruit, will bear like a considerable like a success if this SDG of SDG 5, gender equality, like also bears fruit. Then this can be called as a like a successful one. Well, a lot of examples from around us. I have like kept this picture of like late astronaut Kalpana Chawla, okay, who is definitely an inspiring like a figure for our generation and the next generation, right. With her sheer abilities and strength and like educational prowess, okay, she proved to be one of the like a leading like a female members in her contingent, in her group, okay, and she led like this program in the space, right. Well, she met with the unfortunate like like a ending, but definitely world will always like remember like her contribution towards like a development of science and technology. And yeah, so well, potential wise, wise if you see, well, why I kept like this picture, her picture, because she comes from like a very humble like a place, Karnal in Haryana, right. I suppose I'm right, so, and from there she went on to become like an astronaut and scientist with the NASA in the United States. And yeah, so definitely if you see the potential, it's about the potential, right. So if you have the if your system is like a enabling you to capitalize on your potential, definitely you also can become like a Kalpana Chawlas. And there are many more Kalpana Chawlas are waiting to enjoy and to reach like their goals. So the system actually must come forward and be cohesive, including all of us. System doesn't mean this the government's responsibility only. Okay, system means system, and society means all of us, like to provide like a cohesive environment to our like sisters and daughters and mothers to play like their role nicely and effectively to their full potential, right. Okay, MDGs also had like this in their purview. If you see, like it talks about improved like health situation, health condition. Okay, maybe for more details you can watch like this YouTube video. And moving on. On paper, not. Yeah. So what are the laws in place? If you see, well, grays, there is no data available. Yeah, but except that this is divided into like a two like a color shades here. The dark pink one says like a yes, a lighter one says like no. So laws may help protect women from violence, but 2 of 5 countries have no clear penalties for domestic violence. Okay, so are there clear criminal penalties for domestic violence as per 2017? Let's see. So these dark pink like colored countries, including India, like many of these like SAARC countries except Myanmar, China, Mongolia, Australia, like these Indonesia, and then South African, many of these countries. Yeah, majorly South American countries also, except Chile over here, and North American countries, Central American countries. Yeah, and many in like Europe, they have like such kind of laws. But if you see United Kingdom, okay, and then Russia, Japan, New Zealand, and several of like sub-Saharan and like a middle, like African countries, and many from like these Middle East countries, and East, like a European countries. Some here also, like they do not have like a such laws in place. Okay, so that is the like a current situation. You can see it is mentioned in Afghanistan where there are no penalties. Over 45% of women reported violence from an intimate partner. This is the location of Afghanistan, So 45% of women, like every, like per every like 100, 45 women, close to like a half, like of the women population has reported, some kind of violence from the intimate partner. That means, somebody from the family itself. Okay, that's a worrisome, like a situation from this country. Okay, and here, despite penalties existing in Kiribati, the Solomon Island and the Vanuatu, about 40% of women in these countries report violence from an intimate partner. Okay, I think this is the location of like this country. Okay. Yeah, so this is from World Bank Women, Business and the Law 2018. Yeah, some more like a data, gender equality as like a ranking. So if you see in this one, like 1 being the equal and 0 being like a totally unequal. Okay, so in this range we have this scale 0.8 and above with this like a dark shade, and gradually it gets down to gray, and the lighter almost white, there is no data. So beginning from this region, North America, Canada is at 16th, USA 51st. First rank is taken by Iceland. You can see here. The World Economic Forum measured gender equality in 149 countries with an index based on 4 criteria. What are those? Economy, education, health and policies. So on these 4 like a criteria, Iceland has topped with position 1, Norway came second, Sweden third, Finland fourth. And then fifth, this Central American country, Nicaragua. And sixth we have Rwanda, here in Africa, right? And then 7th we have New Zealand, 8th we have Philippines, and 9th we have Ireland here, and 10th Namibia, again another country in Africa, and then so on. So Brazil is at 95th position, DR Congo 144th, Syria 146, Lebanon 140, Iraq 147. So mostly like these countries are at the like a bottommost. You see this range. Okay, Russia at 75th position, India 108th, and China 103, Japan 110th. Okay, so this is the like ranking. Australia at 39th. So this is the ranking. This is from Global Gender Gap Report 2019 WEF. Yeah, so these are the like a targets inside this. Well, what are these? 5.1, end discrimination against women and girls, and all violence against and exploitation of women and girls, eliminate forced marriages and genital mutilation, value unpaid care and promote shared domestic responsibilities like within the household, ensure full participation in leadership and decision making, universal access to reproductive health and rights, equal rights to economic resources, property ownership and financial services, promote empowerment of women through technology, and adopt and strengthen policies and enforceable legislation for gender equality. Yeah, so UN Environment has listed down like a few prevalent challenges and their probable solutions. So let's see. Women are amongst the most vulnerable to environmental degradation and are particularly affected by climate change impacts, mostly compared to the men. Solution: recognize the important role played by women as custodians of biodiversity and communities' well-being, because they are the this like a group is at the forefront wherever there is like a nature related task and household and places. So we saw previously in the earlier slides. So they carry like that potential, the huge potential to make and bring like a positive changes in those domains. Second, Lack of access to land, credits, agricultural inputs and markets increase women's vulnerability to extreme climate events, right? So yeah, what can be done? Support equal access to land rights. We saw, like how minuscule, like their share is. Agricultural inputs, financial services and education for women to build a more sustainable future for themselves, their family and community. Lastly, women are subject to cultural, legal, political and financial biases, preventing them from building their resilience. Okay, so this is also one of the situations, where their hard work is not recognized, or they are not directly the beneficiaries, the prime beneficiaries of such things. Okay, so even though they are the backbone, they are not receiving the perks in the same ratio, right? So put in place gender friendly laws and instill a culture of equity, empowering women to become powerful agents of change. So bringing them on fold, bringing them on the table, making them equal shareholder of such initiatives and units, organizations, okay, will definitely help them to receive the perks and rewards also in equal ratio, right? So with that intent, UNDP UN Environment has proposed very straightforward and direct solutions. So with this we have come to the end of this SDG 5, gender equality. So thank you all for joining. See you in the next lecture.